Hey everybody, it's Allie and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, May 21st, 2017. What could go wrong in beautiful, sunny Hollywood, California? It is the city where dreams come true, the city of angels. Leave it to these bumpkins of Genoa City, Wisconsin to muck it all up with their lies and their sabotage and their scandals. Everything was picturesque. It was going kind of perfectly for Brash and Sassy. Guests of Brash and Sassy stay at the beautiful Beverly Palms Hotel. It was just gorgeous. We had a rooftop view of the Dare billboard. Y&R got a lot of mileage out of that billboard. There were tons of aerial shots and like flying through the sky and coming in and looking at that billboard from different angles. We got a lot of shots of the city of the Hollywood sign to really set the scene and take us there. It was a lot of scenes shot on top of the rooftop of this hotel. We got daytime shots, some beautiful shots at dusk and in the evening. I have a feeling it was a little bit challenging to shoot there because it seemed kind of windy, and I noticed that some of the actors had to go back in and do voiceovers over their lines. It sounds like maybe some of the audio didn't quite work out, but it didn't pull me out of the moment. I was there. I was feeling the rooftop. I was feeling like having drinks and everybody kind of wearing their California style wardrobe. It was gorgeous. We saw Kane and Lily riding around in the limo, so we had a little bit of romance, a little bit of the city before we got the scandal. So we, as the audience, were hinted a little bit last week that Kane had come up with some sort of plan to sabotage Billy. And what that plan ended up being was to just follow Billy around on this Brash and Sassy commercial shoot and get some behind the scenes footage of Billy, specifically trying to focus on Billy and basically just waiting for him to do or say something to completely screw up. That's what Billy does, right? He always makes stupid moves, so point a camera at him and sooner or later he's gonna give Kane something to work with, and he did. It really didn't take very long at all. Billy is hanging around with these hockey players. It's a hockey tie-in. The players are featured prominently in the commercial, and you remember how the hockey league was really uptight about the idea of gambling within their association. Like, they were touchy about Billy even being involved in this project in the first place, or even having any kind of business association with Brash and Sassy, because Billy has had a known gambling problem. And no professional sports league is going to want to be associated with illegal gambling. Even the hint of an idea of a whiff of a mention of illegal gambling. And of course, the camera conveniently catches Billy like joking around with the two hockey players about making bets. Now, we saw the whole conversation and we know that they were just joking around. It was kind of guys being guys in a way, but the next thing we know, Kane is paying the cameraman who's shooting all of this behind the scenes footage to take out the part of the footage showing that they were just joking around. This camera guy slash editor cuts it totally out of context and just forever deletes the part that proves Billy and the hockey players were just joking. Then, I mean, it's like, I can't even believe kind of how like incredibly sneaky this was and how quick it kind of happened. I mean, all of a sudden, this footage is conveniently finding its way onto a live streaming interview that Lily is doing with Hilary on the Hilary Hour. So all of a sudden, this moment that was pretty innocent, pretty chummy, is being streamed. It's been cut out of context and it's being streamed out to the entire world to see, including the hockey league. It's making Billy look like a total jerk. It's making the hockey players look unprofessional. I'm sure that they're going to be in hot water. And it was funny to listen to Hilary and Lily having, like, trying to play nice, considering we know that these two women absolutely hate each other, while this footage is being shown, and they're oblivious. They have no idea what's really going on. They're more interested in what kind of bagels are on the craft services table, completely unaware that the footage that's being shown is not the footage that was approved by the Hockey League. The Hockey League wanted to see every single frame of footage that was going to go out, which is understandable for them and their business, of course. And so they wanted to approve whatever behind the scenes footage was going to go out on the website, that was going to go out to the world. And that footage that we saw was absolutely not the approved version. So Brash and Sassy might as well just kiss this Hockey League tie-in goodbye for good. The millisecond that Victoria realized what was happening, that this footage was going out specifically, she was shooting flaming daggers at Billy with her eyes. I think if she could have lunged and murdered him right then and there, she probably would have. She was furious. Billy is befuddled. Juliet immediately collapses in on herself, and all the while, Kane is standing in the background, kind of with holding his head, just looking so disappointed. Oh, Billy, how could you do this? How could you do this to our company, to Victoria? It was kind of brilliant. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of a brilliant move, brilliant performance. Kane totally pulled off his plan to sabotage Billy. And you know what? The even more brilliant thing is, like, we expected Kane to sabotage Billy. But really the cherry on top of this cake is the fact that Kane manages to set up Juliet in the process too. She was responsible for getting this behind the scenes footage approved by the Hockey League, and now she thinks she royally screwed up. She thinks her job is on the line, and it might very well be. Kane's plan was a 2-for-1 deal. I don't know if he exactly planned it that way, but it was kind of perfect, and I'm a little bit proud of him and impressed at him for pulling it off. Not that I think it was right, but it was pretty dramatic. It was pretty good. It was an advanced move on Kane's part, an advanced manipulation on Kane's part. But I mean, of course, it's only going well for now. It's a Jenga puzzle that if you pull out one piece, the whole thing is going to fall, and he's completely going to get caught. There's no way that he's going to be able to pull this off forever. First of all, the guy who, the cameraman / editor who Kane paid to make the footage, the other footage be deleted permanently, he's now come back, and he is blackmailing Kane. I mean, naturally, the first question Victoria has is, well, let's talk to the editor. Where's the rest of this footage? Why? What happened? Why this moment? That's so suspicious. So let's talk to the editor, find out what's happened. And the editor knows he took the original bribe from Kane. Kane said, here's a big wad of cash, make that footage go away. And now the editor's kind of in on it too. So he realizes he has to continue to lie to keep up his end of the bargain and to cover his own tracks. But as soon as he realizes how big of a problem this was, he also gets little dollar signs in his eyes and realizes he can go back to Kane for more money. I mean, honestly, Kane could be in an endless blackmail situation for who knows how long. Who knows when this guy is going to come back and want some more money. So that's going to be a problem for Kane. And there's no way that Billy's not going to seek that guy out. We're going to see that video editor again because he's going to be the key to busting out Kane in the coming weeks. Billy's not going to let this go. There is no way that it's not dawning on Billy right now, like, wait a minute, why this moment? And why did the end of that tape mysteriously disappear? It's got to occur to Billy pretty quickly that this was sabotage, and he is going to spend every single waking moment that he has trying to figure out who did it and why. I mean, who has problems with Billy? I mean, I can't imagine he's gonna think it was Jack. It's obviously Kane. Kane is obviously the mole here, or he's the problem here, and Billy's gonna figure it out. Lily is going to be devastated. This is all going to come back and haunt Kane. I mean, it seems almost like the most unnecessary risk he could possibly take. As I said last week, I don't entirely know why he's so unhappy at Brash and Sassy that he would risk his personal and professional reputation. I don't know why he would risk this opportunity for Lily. I don't know why he wouldn't just go find another job. I'm not sure why this job is so important to Kane that he would do what he did, but he did, and he is most certainly going to suffer the repercussions of this, especially, I mean, when Lily finds out, she is going to leave him, and he is so going to deserve it. I think if anything is going to be the end of Lily and Kane for a while, it's absolutely going to be this. And I'm not saying that's necessarily what I want to happen. I love Lily and Kane as a couple. I know I'm kind of gushing on Kane for pulling off this move a little bit, but in no way do I think it was right. I just am really becoming fascinated by the idea of Kane becoming the new Adam on the show. I like the idea of dark Kane, and the truth is Kane already has a dark past. Kane came into this town as a bad boy, and it's only been within probably the last couple of years that he's become Mr. Nice Guy, kind of whitewashed family man, but he's got a resume that's chock full of deception and lies. And I mean, there's a lot of bad things if we went back and listed Kane's crimes that he has done, and I just kind of like the idea of returning to that. I mean, Kane let his wife think that he was dead. It's a terrible, terrible thing. And like, it's funny to me, and I picked that of all things because that's something that Adam also did. It wasn't malicious on Adam's part in any way, but he did let Chelsea believe that he was dead all the while he was recovering from the whole car explosion thing. And that to me, that's an interesting connection to make between the two characters. And I guess I'm just missing that element of the show, that dark Adam type character. And I think that Kane would be someone who's interesting to fill that role. Kane could make Adam look like a saint, really. I mean, even Adam didn't gaslight Chelsea into thinking that she was seeing a ghost. Kane did. Actually, he ended up using that trick on Ashley. With all of this other drama, surprisingly, one of my favorite scenes of the week, Phyllis and Ashley had a very intense argument. Now that Phyllis and Billy are out in the open with their relationship, Ashley takes it upon herself to call Phyllis into her office and put in her 2 cents about it. And like, Ashley knows how to push Phyllis's insecurity buttons, and Phyllis doesn't need any help pushing those. I think Phyllis has her own issues with insecurity. She's pushing those buttons all on her own. Ashley wasn't helping. So in return, Phyllis gave Ashley a little bit of a taste of her own medicine and said, you know what, Ashley, when was the last time that you risked something? When was the last time that you decided to risk anything to make yourself happy? And I thought that scene was so well written. I thought that the performances of both women were so strong and so passionate, and I was riveted. I really liked that Phyllis nailed Ashley on that point, that she is such a busybody when it comes to other people's lives, specifically their romantic lives, and here she is trapped almost in this little bubble of fear of reaching out for new relationships because she doesn't want to be hurt. And it's understandable. She has been hurt, but I think that that was a jab that Ashley really needed to hear. And Phyllis ended up taking some of her own advice. She kind of did the carpe diem thing and decided to put on a scarf and sunglasses and go incognito to Los Angeles to follow Billy and sneak into his hotel room and slip between his sheets and give him a little bit of a surprise, which I know he appreciated very, very much. The problem though is, once again, it's a secret. Victoria can't know anything about the fact that Phyllis has come to LA, that she's secretly roaming around the hotel. I understand Billy and Phyllis decide it would, if Victoria knew, if everybody knew Phyllis was there, it would disrupt the purpose of the business trip. And at this point, I think neither of them really wants the drama that would surround that. They don't want to create a dramatic, negative atmosphere for this really important project. They just want to be able to hug like little bunnies in their hotel room over and over and over as much as possible. Is that so much to ask? And it must be extra exciting in a different city. Oh, Phyllis is supposed to just be laying low, and instead she's going up to the rooftop with everybody else laying out in the sun. She almost runs into Victoria. I really liked the moment where Hilary recognized Phyllis, busted her out. I mean, Hilary's just so awesome. I loved that there was just this turn moment where she goes up to Phyllis being all friendly, and all of a sudden she just dropped it and went into bitchy mode. I am so obsessed with Hilary. She's just one of my favorite characters on the show, and I mean Phyllis, that was, especially this incarnation of Phyllis, is so good. I really enjoyed seeing those two interacting. I mean, that is a dynamic duo right there, and it was surprising that Hilary ended up covering for Phyllis. Phyllis appealed to her a little bit, appealed to her humanity, please don't bust me out, and Hilary ended up helping Phyllis. It dawned on me a little bit that in the triangle between Victoria and Phyllis and Billy, it's almost as if Phyllis has Hilary on her side while Victoria has Juliet. I don't know how long that triangle is gonna last though. Billy scolds Phyllis a little bit for being out and about in the hotel too much. So toward the end of the week, Phyllis was confined to the hotel room, reading books and just kind of being bored. And it made me feel that she was still being relegated to other woman status, affair status, and I don't know, that bothered me for some reason. And when Victoria told Billy that she went ahead and booked a trip for those two, for him and her, and the children to go to San Diego to visit the zoo and kind of do a family trip thing. Billy comes back to the room and tells Phyllis, sorry, you're gonna have to leave. You might as well go back to Genoa City, because now that the shoot's over, everything went so great. Me and Victoria are gonna take the kids off to San Diego. I don't like it. It made Billy look like he's getting his cake and eating it too, which I don't like that for him. And it just made Phyllis look like she's second banana still. And I know that is gonna, no matter how hard she tries to be strong and present herself as confident, I know that had to have been a blow to her confidence. And it's the same with the souffle from last week. Phyllis is trying so hard to just accept her place in Billy's life, whatever it is, and I'm not sure that it's what she really wants. I don't think it's necessarily what she really deserves either. I again understand that we don't want the drama around the business trip, but if our goal is to be out and open about the relationship, and I were Phyllis, I would present myself as the woman in his life. And you know what, Victoria? I'm here to be positive. If there's anything I could do to assist you guys on this shoot, like, I would be up in there, and I don't think I would be hiding in a hotel room. And that bugged me. It bugged me a little bit. I want to see, these two being able to kind of be open. But I think that they kind of get off on the fact that it's secret, though. I mean, she was getting ready to leave Genoa City, but she decided to take him for a few more spins right before she did. I mean, I honestly don't think I've ever seen such a lusty couple as these two. Billy and Phyllis are getting it on a lot. I mean, how many times did they have sexy moments in that hotel room? And how long were they there? Maybe 48 hours? There were so many sex sessions for 48 hours. I don't know who could pull that off. They must be like doing yoga. They've got some stamina, those two. They really, really like going at it. Oh, okay, but this is so good. After the unapproved footage aired, and Billy was toast, he goes back to his hotel room where Phyllis is. Victoria, who had already been tipped off to the fact that somebody was in Billy's room, I think her antenna was already up. She walks into Billy's room to scold him, of course. Phyllis makes a beeline for the bathroom. Once again, she's hiding, and Victoria's kind of yelling at Billy, and yet at the same time, even though it seemed like everything else had gone wrong for Billy, there was a sense that maybe he and Phyllis were going to be able to have their secret sex on the side without getting busted. But no, right as Victoria was finished reading Billy the riot act, she just almost turns around to leave and says, you know what, Phyllis, you might as well come out, and you might want to wear a little less perfume next time. That was like a jaw-dropping twist right there. I loved it. That was so catty. It was just fantastic. I don't know, for as much as those two have been going at it, I'm surprised that Phyllis's perfume was the dominant aroma in the air. It wouldn't be a trip to Hollywood without a celebrity sighting. So Hilary is in town, and she's doing some work for the Hilary Hour, trying to get some interviews and some footage and trying to do some stuff to help promote her show. And on the rooftop of the hotel, she spots Julie Chen having a meeting, and Hilary is immediately starstruck. This is her hero. It's Julie Chen. It was actually a very appropriate tie-in pretty much every way. First of all, Julie Chen is CBS royalty. She's the equivalent of the first lady of CBS. And as a reporter herself, Hilary is like a huge fan. She really looks up to Julie. I hadn't thought about that, but I thought that was a really cool way to tie it in. Hilary has her own talk show. Julie Chen is the host of The Talk, also on CBS. I don't know if it follows Y&R or if it can't be right before. I think it's Price is Right, then Y&R, then Bold and the Beautiful, and then is The Talk on after that? Or maybe The Talk is a morning show. I'm not sure. I really haven't seen it very much. I would watch it, but I haven't. I do watch Big Brother. So interesting that promos for Big Brother have started rolling this week too. Julie Chen's the host of that show, and of course, she also happens to be the wife of the chairman of the board, president, and CEO of CBS. So Julie Chen is the first lady of CBS. We'll say that. And Hilary immediately is glommed on her. She just has stardust in her eyes. She walks up to Julie, tells her what an inspiration she is. I think it was very flattering for Julie Chen, just someone heaping all of this adoration onto you, someone who's really familiar with your body of work, just telling you how great you are, what an inspiration you are. And it ended up being the perfect tie-in for The Talk too. The Talk, although I don't watch it regularly, I know they do have Y&R guests on the show a lot. I mean, it's clear that it's one of the smart things about CBS is they do a good job of intertwining their shows. They're using their daily talk program to also promote other shows on the network, and it's nice to have a platform for our soap stars. Soaps are they end up being a little bit of a dying breed here within the last couple of years. So I really appreciate that The Talk takes time to feature our hunky guys and feature our ladies, and so I thought it was cool that Y&R was able to fold Julie into the show. I thought it really, really worked. And Hilary ends up hassling Julie into an interview on The Talk set. That was another kind of cool thing, especially if you're a fan of The Talk, to see that set in a different light with a little bit more empty. It was cool. And Julie talks a lot in her interview with Hilary about her early days as a reporter and how she was just a news person. She saw herself as trying very hard to be impartial. She really had to work to develop her on-air personality. And although I don't watch The Talk, so I didn't see her early days of that show, I do remember her early days on Big Brother. I've watched Big Brother since season 2, and they didn't call her the Chen bot for nothing. I'll put it that way. She was pretty stiff. And now look at her. She is smart, and she's warm, and she's poised, and she had this nice inspirational story about not giving up on your dreams. She encourages Hilary to go for it, to go for her dreams, to not give up, and to play nice with her co-host. Hilary couldn't help but mention how she sees Mariah more as a sidekick than as a co-host, and Julie encouraged her to flip the way she views Mariah, and that might help her a little bit. I'm sure that Hilary is gonna rush right back to Genoa City and offer Mariah a promotion and a fruit basket. Back in lowly old Genoa City. Doesn't it feel so drab to be back in Genoa City after being in sunny Los Angeles? In Genoa City, while Hilary's getting her fabulous interview with Julie Chen, Mariah gets a big interview of her own. Dina Mergeron may be selling her company, but she is part of the package. She's worked into the language of the contracts that she still gets to have a say. She has a seat on the board, so she is not going away. But Devon and Neil are okay with that. They really want to move forward with this company, so the contracts get signed, and Devon wants to make an announcement to let the world know about this acquisition and this merger, and he talks Dina into talking about the merger on Isn't that weird? It's a weird little like pun. Her name is Mergeron, and the merger is on. And she decides to talk about it on air with his girlfriend's show, the Hilary Hour, with Hilary's approval, of course. But Dina sits down, she talks with Mariah, and she seizes the opportunity, I think, to talk to Jack and Ashley in a veiled way. It was pretty clear that she, at this point in her life, is selling the business because I think she's not happy. I think that she's done all of these fabulous things. I think she's become incredibly wealthy and incredibly successful, and she's just not satisfied personally. She, I'm sure, has a ton of regret, and she's talking on air about, yeah, I sold the business, yada yada, but really what my focus is now is family. I'm all about family. In fact, I think she said something to that effect, like, family is the most important thing to me. It was just so bizarre. Because it's like, what family? What family are you talking about? Is all of a sudden family's the most important thing to you? You have had no contact with your children for years. I don't know. I'm trying to take what Dina has said at face value. She's obviously in town for more than business. She wants to, for whatever reason, fix her relationship with her kids. And I want to know if you guys want to continue to see Dina in Genoa City. Do you think that she's a character that could actually become the matriarch of the Abbott family? Would you like to see her working on mending fences with Ashley and developing relationships with Jack and maybe Abby? I mean, how do you feel that Dina, does she add value to the show? So if you would like to see Dina as a person, as a permanent resident of Genoa City, or if you think that she needs to hit the road back to Paris or wherever the heck it is she came from, you can go to yrchat.com and we'll have that as this week's poll question. Would you like to see Dina become a permanent resident of Genoa City? She showed up at the mansion this week and she was there, of course, to see the one child who has a soft spot for her, Jack, and she ended up getting the one child who hates her most of all, Ashley. Ashley had to end up cracking a bottle of wine for that interaction. They all knew Dina was in town, but certainly weren't expecting her to show up on the doorstep, so Ashley was a little thrown off. She was very, very icy. It was not a warm family mother-daughter reunion. And I'm sorry, but I gotta side with Ashley on this one. It's not just that Dina wasn't a good mother. Every mother's gonna make mistakes. That's not what this amounts to. Dina has been an absent mother, and that's what's worse. There was nothing wrong with Dina. She didn't have an illness. She wasn't trying to save her children from a life of poverty or whatever. She just simply chose she didn't want to have anything to do with them. I mean, and to boot, she made that decision once, and all the way up until now, she's made really no effort to make amends for that. It's a long stretch of time to go just pretending that you don't have children, that you don't have family, to just come back now and decide that family is the most important thing. I mean, I was with Ashley in that scene. Ashley most certainly does not have to, need to accept Dina's crumbs of an olive branch at this point in her life. I mean, now that Dina's getting older, she's probably filled with regret, and that's why she's doing all of this. I think that Dina is inherently a selfish individual. She left the family for selfish reasons, and now toward the end of her life is, I think, trying to mend fences for selfish reasons, for her own peace of mind before she ends up leaving this world. That's just my view on it. I don't know. I think I'm probably gonna feel bad for Dina in the coming weeks. There'll be moments where she's gonna have tearful confessions and saying how sorry she is to both Jack and Ashley, maybe Tracy, and I'm gonna be so sad along for her. I'll probably be crying like, oh, we should forgive Dina. But right now, I'm not wanting to forgive her. Frankly, I'm kind of wishing that Ashley would steal Graham away from Dina. I think that would be a really, really good revenge. First of all, Graham is a good looking guy. I mean, who knows what his story is? At this point, he's been painted as Dina's boy toy in a way, with no ambition of his own. He's just there along for the rich old ladies ride. But who knows? I mean, we don't really know what his backstory is. I kind of would like to see Ashley maybe try to woo him away from Dina, because we know how much Dina loves him and dotes upon him and just looks at him with love eyes. It would be great to see Ashley do a little bit of revenge and try to steal him away. I mean, women do tend to notice Graham first. Oh boy, so without warning, Jack runs into Graham and Dina at the athletic club. I mean, Jack, of all the children, he's soft when it comes to his mom. No, literally, it totally killed his plans to go meet with Gloria. He is soft when it comes to mom. He was all revved up maybe to have a little another go with Gloria. He runs into mom and it just killed everything. She's looking at him like, oh, my son, the one child that doesn't hate me. He's become so successful. What a nice man you've become. She just throws herself into his arms immediately and they share this awkward hug. I don't know why she doesn't have boundaries when it comes to him. I mean, I think that I see that almost as manipulative. I mean, at this stage of the game and not knowing as much about, what Dina has in mind, it just to presume that Jack would want to welcome you with open arms after you've been absent, after you abandoned them as children. It is so presumptuous. I just can only imagine that she's just selfish and a little bit disconnected from reality in her head. I don't know. I think that it's going to be a challenge for Jack. I don't think that he knows where to place Dina in his life. He has most certainly done fine without her. He's managed to build his own life, and he doesn't need her, neither does Ashley. But Jack, and like Ashley and like any child would, wants his mother's love. He wants that love. It was interesting that Jack was talking with Nikki about it on Friday, and Nikki, of all people, was encouraging Jack to just forgive Dina, to go for it, to see, to embrace the relationship. And she made some comment about, about knowing what it's like to want more from someone than you're gonna get. That was a very telling statement. And I'm sure we've all experienced that maybe on some level, when you just want more than what you're gonna get. And it's gonna be a tough situation for Jack to be in. I just was so struck with the irony that Nikki was she was preaching forgiveness to Jack. Why tell Jack to give it another chance and then turn your back on Victor when you know there are obviously still feelings between you two? I guess Nikki just feels like Victor has had enough chances. I wonder where Abby will fit into the picture with Dina, because I could see Jack and Abby welcoming her back into the family while Ashley is the lone voice against it. If Tracy comes back, she could very well want to welcome Dina back into the fold as well. But I could see Ashley almost beating on the outside of the door saying, no, we can't let her in here. We can't let her intrude upon our family. Well, I mean, do you remember weeks and months ago when Jack tried to kick Billy out of the family after his affair with Phyllis? I mean, that didn't work for Jack, and it's not going to work for Ashley either. Family is family, whether you like it or not. That's kind of how it works. You can't just kick somebody out of a family. And since Abby is friends with Devon, I almost wonder if she's going to become involved in some kind of independent business with Dina. See, Abby is both curious about her grandmother, and she also wants to make an impact professionally. So I could see her maybe finding a way to bring Dina into the fold personally and professionally. I mean, Abby is moving forward with her whole incubator idea. The first project, I suppose, that she's wanting to invest in is a dating app. She's meeting with this kind of weird jerky guy who's, I don't know, I just didn't like his body language, like sitting there like he was Mr. Smart Man, as if the world needs another dating app. But Abby is gonna fund this whole dating app thing, and the whole problem with the project is that it's a secret deal. Abby's using Victor's money to invest in a project that he has declined, and she is investing partnered with Jack, of all people, Victor's biggest enemy of all time. So this is gonna explode and be a problem for her on many levels. Victor tells Scott all about this check that he has found cashed that's been made payable to Newman Enterprises, and he asks Scott to look into the check and to further investigate Abby. Victor believes that Abby's up to something. I don't know why Victor can't figure this out on his own. I don't know since when Scott is a private investigator. It seems to me like maybe someone such as Kevin would be better suited for this type of project. I don't know how long it's gonna be before Scott ends up like ditching his fine looking suit altogether and ditching the business world and going to work with his Uncle Paul as a private investigator at the police station, replacing Kevin completely. I can kind of see that as the trajectory that we're working toward here. It's pretty clear that Scott is the new golden boy of Genoa City. I just wonder whose secret he's gonna discover first, Abby's or Victor's. Christine still wants to recruit Scott for this dangerous FBI sting operation to stop sex trafficking in Genoa City. Didn't Christine learn any lessons about putting family members into the line of fire after what happened to Dylan? Come on. I'm starting to wonder if Christine is just bound and determined to take away Sharon's men from her one by one by one. Oh, Sharon is becoming closer to Scott. It's clear that they both want to open up to each other about their entire lives. Sharon is also continuing to become friendly close with Nick. She's comforting him about his situation with Chelsea. She knows he's being suspicious though. She immediately can tell that Nick is not telling her everything. My question is, why isn't Chelsea being more suspicious of Nick? I mean, I don't know why Chelsea isn't more suspicious of Nick. I don't know why she isn't more suspicious of Victor. I thought for sure last week when she was putting it together about the passports that she had connected Victor to Chloe, but instead she goes to him for help because she's thinking, hey, maybe the person who helped Adam and me get these passports is the same person who made Chloe's passport, and maybe Victor knows that person. I mean, come on. It's just so ridiculous. Victor, it was so easy to put Chelsea, to throw her off the case too. Victor makes a fake phone call and says, oh, nope, sorry, can't find any connection to Chloe. Sorry about that. And Chelsea just kind of goes away, says thank you, walks out into the hall, runs into Scott. Chelsea tells Scott about her quest to find Chloe, and since Scott is Genoa City's new PI, maybe he'll raise an eyebrow in Victor's direction. I'm not sure that Nick is being very helpful. The thing is, Nick wants to have a relationship with Chelsea, but the fact that he's keeping the secret about Victor is putting a wedge between their ability to continue to become intimate, and it has to make no sense to her. I mean, Nick was all about bringing Chloe to justice 3 months ago, and now all of a sudden when they get close to finding out when they find out what she did and they get close to bringing her to that justice, Nick starts to pull away. I can't even believe that Victor asked that he asked Chelsea, or that he asked Nick, to spy on Chelsea. That's really surprising to me. Victor has got some nerve. It seems like Victor and or Nikki are always coming in between Nick's relationships, or they're trying to. Anyway, I'm glad that Nick decided not to spy on Victor. In fact, he decides to feed Victor false information, telling him that Chelsea has dropped the whole Chloe issue, and it seems like Nick has decided to start supporting Chelsea instead. Just let the chips fall with Victor where they may. I like it. Way to go, Nick. Follow your heart. Last week's poll question: is Tessa a good girl or a total con? 64% of you said you think that Tessa is overall a good girl, but she is possibly a former bad girl. 36% of you thought total con artist, no redeeming her, no softening the character. She is just pulling a major dupe on Nikki. I voted that I think she's a good girl. It kind of seemed like at the beginning of the week there were more people who had voted that she was a con artist, and then I wonder if the votes switched a little bit after we saw Nikki and Tessa having their heart-to-heart. Nikki mentions to Tessa that she saw her living out of her car, and Tessa really freaked out. I mean, she said, so what am I, your charity case? And she tries to move out of the ranch, and she really seemed deeply offended. So either this interaction with Nikki and this gift that she's been given of a home and a support system is the best thing that's ever happened to her, or this is the most brilliant con game. I mean, making someone almost, Nikki begging her to stay in the house. I mean, that would be absolutely brilliant if she was pulling a con. The other element of this is that she's now dating Noah. They went out on a date together. They're being cute, having, he's Mr. Rich Guy. It's kind of a Sharon type story. He's Mr. Rich Guy, and she's being brought into his world and embraced by at least one of the members of his family. They did have a conversation this week about family. It's obviously a sore spot for Tessa. She has a sore spot when it came to whatever happened with that heckler last week, and she has a sore spot when it comes to talking about family. We did manage to pull out of her that she was born in Chicago. She left home at the age of 17, so something had to have been really wrong in the home. She does mention that she has a younger sister. I couldn't tell if it was a positive or a negative relationship. I wonder if it was maybe Phyllis and Avery style, where Tessa feels guilty that she got out of an abusive home situation and left the younger sister, or if the younger sister is a con artist. Maybe she's the con artist. I'm not sure. That's got to be who Tessa has been talking on the phone to, so I'm imagining that she still has some sort of relationship with her. I keep wanting to connect Tessa to someone who's already in Genoa City, and I can't stop thinking about that Kendall girl who's trying to get her claws into Reed. Maybe Tessa is going along with the plan, or maybe it started off as a plan to con the Newmans and it's turning into a story where she's actually finding that she likes them. But I wonder if Kendall's going to end up being the fall guy. I wonder if that's her sister and she's going to end up being the fall guy, redeeming Tessa in the end. Ambition does strange things to people. It was Victor who said that quote last week. He was talking to Scott, opening up a little bit more about why he is suddenly distrustful of Abby after trusting her, giving her the ultimate responsibility of being his interim CEO. All of a sudden he's having her investigated. It's because ambition, as Victor has probably seen through the course of his career, does strange things to people. I thought it was kind of an interesting quote and very true. Let's see, 9 of you guys guessed that was the mustache, Mr. Victor Newman. It was Tina Cole, Sandra, Henry, Jamie, Robbie, Ellen, Tanya, and Sharita. Well done, you guys. I liked this line. I'll tell you why next week probably, but here's our line from this past week's show, and when you hear it, if it dawns on you who said it, you can let me know. The line is, "I'm caught in a trap, aren't I?" I'm caught in a trap, aren't I? If you want to go to yrchat.com, you can leave me your guess and tell me if you think you know who said it. And if you do, then I will give you your shout out next week on our chat. Okay, let's dig in to some of your comments for the week. Jamie left me a voicemail saying that Michelle Stafford apparently has a YouTube channel called Single Mama Go-Go. That's kind of cute. And episode 23 has Eric Braden as a guest talking about his new book. I gotta watch that. I wanted to pass that along to everybody though too, because of course Michelle Stafford is the original Phyllis, and if you're missing her and not a General Hospital fan, you can apparently go to her YouTube channel, Single Mama Go-Go, and check out old Phyllis and Victor doing an interview together. Now, this is fascinating to me. Gary left me a voicemail like right after, it must have been during Monday's show, regarding our trip to LA and being at the Beverly Palm Hotel. Gary said, "Ellie, I don't think that's a real hotel." Gary was mentioning that on the show I Love Lucy, that there was a season where the characters went out to Hollywood to make a movie and they stayed at the Beverly Palms Hotel. It was Palms with an S, and that it was a set, that it wasn't a real hotel. Now here I am, a country bumpkin in Wisconsin. I honestly watched the episode before I listened to the voicemail and I thought, ooh, how very chic. We're at the Beverly Palms Hotel. It seemed so real and so just seemed so glamorous. And then Gary mentioned that it's not a real hotel, so I googled that and it isn't. It is not, apparently not a real hotel. This I'm guessing it's maybe kind of one of those, like when a phone number, a fake phone number in Hollywood is 555, or they have fake license plates. I know there's like a fake license plate number or something, you know, with cars and things. So maybe the Beverly Palm Hotel is apparently a fake hotel. And the interesting thing is, I wonder, Gary, if you're right that it was a nod to I Love Lucy, because I noticed a few commercials this past week for apparently there was a special colorized episode of I Love Lucy that aired on Friday. So I'm kind of wondering if CBS was doing that as a little wink wink to I Love Lucy, and yet another brilliant tie-in with a show that they're airing. They're very good at that, aren't they? Ellen at yrchat.com says, you know, those messy cooking scenes like Phyllis had with the souffle really annoy me. That trope is so overdone with the trashed kitchen and the flour on her face. Ugh, I'm glad that fast forward was invented. I hope the show doesn't waste money on scenes like that. I Love Lucy did it better 60 years ago. Another I Love Lucy tie-in. Ellen, are you on the inside at Y&R? Just trying to get me to drop I Love Lucy so people will watch that? I don't know. And okay, here, interestingly, Lot Fally also left me a comment at yrchat.com. I saw Gary's comment first about the Beverly Palms, and then I had logged in later and saw Lot Fally's comment mentioning that hotel could also, the Beverly Palms Hotel, could also be a nod to Beverly Hills Cop 2, which is a movie where apparently they also filmed it at Beverly Palms Hotel. So it must be a known Hollywood hotel prop. I kind of love it. Also, Lot Fally says, I think that Gina Tognoni as Phyllis has some real gifts as a comic, especially for physical comedy. Every once in a while, she cracks me up, as she did when she grabbed the map when Juliet walked by. By the way, wasn't the desk clerk in another episode that aired sometime in the past couple of years? First of all, I have to completely agree with Gina Tognoni. She has done a lot of comedy these last couple of weeks. I think it's really fun. I liked the souffle replay effect. I kind of like practical effects. I think it's fun and a little bit of a departure from where we were seeing like those digital explosions and stuff. And I think Gina Tognoni has really brought it. It was funny seeing her trying to dodge Victoria and to not be seen around the hotel. And the hotel clerk was an actor-comedian named Alex Mappa. I think he must be one of those guys who it's like he's done a lot of sitcoms and stuff, so you've probably seen his face there, but I do believe that he was on Y&R a couple years ago. I wonder if he was also working at the hotel. If anyone can remember his first cameo on the show, leave me a comment and let me know. We also this week had David Faustino making his return as Howard, the producer, working alongside of Hilary. He, of course, I think people probably mostly remember from a Fox show called Married with Children, a little show that aired, I think, throughout the 80s and 90s. He played Bud Bundy. That's how I remember him. I like him. I think he's really perfect for this role. There's just something about him that comes off as, you know, he works well with Hilary, and he just seems like he would be a producer, maybe a little bit shady. So I think he played it really well. It was fun to see him. Rose at yrchat.com says, Allie, because you like to comment on Y&R fashions, just a quick note, the LA looks have been so great. Specifically, Lily's navy and floral dress. Really beautiful. Rose, I mean, you know I was looking at all those clothes too. And yes, I mean, Lily's dress was stunning. I thought it was funny that her and Kane were just trying to have a relaxing moment on the rooftop deck there. And she didn't know she was going to be going for an interview. Juliet comes up to her and says, oh, good, you're still camera ready, and shoves her in front of the camera. I love that that's Lily's camera ready look. It's her casual look. She's just out having a little drink with her husband, and she just happens to look that beautiful enough to go on camera. My casual after work attire is sweatshirt, sweatpants. I would not have been camera ready in that situation. I'll also say that yes, I mean, there were some gorgeous outfits this week. I was really digging on everything Phyllis was bringing. Her little swimsuit, tops and cover-ups. Loved her lingerie. Yes, just so many beautiful outfits. Victoria looked beautiful. Hilary looked beautiful. So many gorgeous. I mean, you could really tell that it was styled to be kind of California wear. And yes, absolutely gorgeous. Anna left me a voicemail saying, you know, I get really sick of watching Lily and Juliet BFFing forever. It's just as fake, Anna says, as Chloe and Chelsea's relationship. That's a great point that I hadn't made. That's a really good parallel. Certainly, Juliet's keeping a little secret from Lily. Maybe not quite as big as Chloe was keeping from Chelsea, but that's an interesting comparison. I laughed a little bit at a thread at the website yrchat.com. Robbie left me a comment and said, this is the most interesting thing Kane has ever done, ever. I'm in. And Rose responded, you're so right, Robbie. Well done, Kane. I don't have to sleep through your scenes anymore. We talked last week a little bit about Kane pulling his weight on the show, and I think maybe we were supposed to start getting sick of Kane. I think Y&R was setting him up to look like such a fuddy-duddy because he was gonna pull this stunt, and we all know in the coming weeks he's gonna be torn down. And I think the audience is not only enjoying seeing him pull off this sabotage, but I think we're all really gonna enjoy watching him take the fall with it's coming. Tina Cole at yrchat.com says, Kane, not only are you hurting the company that you work for, but you're hurting the major project for your wife, who that's a big deal for. I mean, it is really true. I think that is probably a consequence that Kane hasn't considered. He is all about himself. He's all about bringing Billy down. I'm sure taking Juliet down with him in one fell swoop is a nice little bonus, but Kane really has not considered Lily's feelings in any of this. If what she said last week to him about, you know, hey, this is big for me, why can't you be happy for me, is any indication, when she finds out what he has done, I don't think she's going to forgive him. Superplex at yrchat.com says, darn it, I was really hoping Jack and Gloria would have made a love connection that evening. I suspect the specter of Dina haunted Jack's conscience, considering the fact that Gloria was once his mother. Ooh! I'm glad you mentioned that, Superplex, because I really liked that office scene between Gloria and Jack. I thought it was so great to see them following up on that relationship, and Gloria feeling a little slighted, but also still really liking spending time with Jack. Jack is such a jerk. I liked when he was appreciating Gloria for the contribution that she was making. I think that they are such a couple with total potential. I don't know. Maybe I'm like in the minority when it comes to wanting to see more of them together. I don't know if Jack and Gloria will ever be able to make it work, but I wish they would. Oh, Sharita left me a comment at yrchat.com. This is so good. Theorizing that maybe Tessa could have something to do with this whole Midwest sex trafficking thing, that she might have been a victim. That I hadn't thought of that, but I think you're totally right, and really interesting too. Was it Marianne who left a comment this morning, or yesterday morning about this sex trafficking thing kind of being the summer storyline that takes us into the fall? That might very well be. I'm not sure if Tessa's tied into that. That would be such a sad story to think that she had been sex trafficked or that she was somehow involved in that. But I think that probably is a really good prediction that might come true. While we're making predictions about Tessa, both Zuperplex on yrchat.com and Katie on Facebook had left comments connecting Tessa to Alex. Now, I was so confused. I had to look Alex up because I did not even know who you guys were talking about. In my mind, I heard Alex and I thought Detective Chavez. I mean, years later, I'm still thinking about him. Like, remember him? The sexy, as a matter of fact, I believe his nickname from me was the Sex Fox. Do you remember him? Detective Chavez just being all spicy and yummy all over Genoa City. So I hear Alex, I think that, but what you guys were thinking is that Tessa is connected to Alex, the woman who was involved in the drug ring that Dylan was busting out. And I think the connection there is possibly that Tessa's involved with Alex and therefore the drug ring, and that might bring somehow a connection to Sharon back to Genoa City, which is certainly possible. Oh, Kyle on Twitter is like, you're really funny, Kyle. Kyle says, ever notice the free biscotti all over the place at Crimson Lights? Is it an honor system? Maybe Sharon should study economics versus psych. Perhaps Tessa was living off of Crimson Lights freebies before moving to the ranch where Cook can apparently make anything and everything in 10 minutes. # breakfast. That is really genuinely funny. One second. Okay, I'm sorry. My child is no longer content to nap, so please ignore. Although I will say I watched Friday's episode live with my daughter, and I got a cute picture of her looking at the screen as Eric Braden's title card came up on the show. I like to let her know that that's her real father. I'm going to refer to that throughout her lifetime. What she doesn't know is that I actually stole Victor's sperm to impregnate myself, and she'll find out about her real parentage way down the line. But anyway, ignore her. Ignore her cuteness. Okay, but back to Kyle, because this was really funny. I have to comment that I like that we now have Cook at the ranch. What? Who's Cook? Can we not give this person a name? I thought that was kind of funny, and yeah, I like that you zinged that, Kyle. You're hilarious. Oh, this is another good one. Okay, Aaron on YouTube says, I can't wait to see Sharon's graduation. I hope we get to see it. Something tells me that Sharon, get this, will be the next big doctor in Genoa City. Sharon could be the psychiatrist that we've been asking for in Genoa City for years now. Could you imagine everyone coming to a mental health doctor in Genoa City and it's Sharon with her history? I love that idea, Aaron. That's kind of like that's my new favorite notion. I wonder if we are going to see Sharon's graduation, and it didn't even dawn on me that might parlay into a new profession for her. I kind of love it. And can you just imagine Sharon sitting there with like some glasses and a pad of paper and a pencil, like listening to all of these people in Genoa City going on about their craziness? Okay, everybody, I think that does it for me for this week. I think I had to stop the tape about 20 times. So I am sorry for any interruptions or extra noises or anything like that. And you may have noticed too, if you're watching the video, that the lighting's probably not all that great, but it's a rainy day here. Rainy days to me, I don't want to open up the windows. If it's raining and gray, I'd rather just have the windows closed, light a candle, and just pretend it's nighttime all day. So forgive that. I hope everything was okay with the audio and video quality, and that you enjoyed our Y&R chat, and leave me feedback. YRChat.com is the website where you can leave the text comments. You can also find links to YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. However it works for you to leave me a comment. I really like reading them, and I like getting voicemails too. 309-588-4569 is that phone number, and I think that's it. I hope everybody has a good week, and I will be back next week to chat about our show. Okay, talk to you next time. Bye.